so getting into tier 3, a little bit of a speed round here. Starting off with my boy Josh Palmer. As a lover of Justin Herbert, I want a piece of this offense wherever I can get it.
Larry Roundtree.
Josh Palmer is going to be going relatively late in most drafts, pretty late. Jalen Guyton's a free agent, as well as Mike Williams. Palmer may not explode this year, but he could slide into that secondary role behind Keenan Allen next year. And never forget, he was a third-round pick, so they like him. So, yep. I mean, that's just, that's me on Josh Palmer.
Yep, that's everything on Josh Palmer. He could easily be the number 3 guy in this offense this year. That's pretty much where I'm at.
That's a Justin Herbert offense. You want the number 3.
Yeah, I mean, he's no Trey McKitty, but...
Yeah. Better than the number 1 on Baltimore.
I got him all the budget.
Yeah.
All the budget Chargers. Yeah, man. But I agree with you. Not a ton to say about him. I think there is some good potential.
Yeah, let me make sure I said it. Did I say tier 3 was named Exciting Future Potential? That's the name of this tier.
Exciting Future Potential. I'll make sure and say that with every passing name.
All right, so then we got the next guy, Davis Mills. Honestly, I feel bad for Tyrod Taylor, man. If Watson doesn't come back or is traded, it's in the realm of possibility that 3 of the last 4 years Tyrod Taylor gets replaced by a rookie. Because even though Mills was a second-round pick, don't forget he was the very first pick of the Houston Texans. I watched his tape. I'm not overly impressed on Davis Mills, but, I mean, he has potential to be a starting QB. So, I don't know. It's interesting, at least.
Yeah, I mean, he could be like, whatever. You never know with these guys. They come in, and if they have the opportunity and something clicks, the guy could go off. I think that if Deshaun's not playing, there's no reason it shouldn't be Davis Mills. You know?
I agree.
I think, fuck it, dude. Like, what haven't you seen from Houston in the past that would make you think that they're going to have a good quarterback? They had Deshaun a couple of years, and they fucked it up. He fucked it up. Something got fucked up, and now it's the same old Texans. So
true.
Whatever. Put Savage back in there. Fucking roll with it.
Bring back Brock Osweiler.
Osweiler.
They're still paying him, I think.
Jeez, dude.
All right, so next guy on this list, or in this tier, Diami Brown. Everybody knows I'm excited about this guy. Might get a little pushback from Daniel on this one. Yeah. But there's a lot of mouths to feed in Washington, for sure. But I could see Brown competing with Dandy Golden and Sims Jr. for that third wide receiver spot. And Sims Jr. is gone after this year.
Those guys don't even exist, man. Diami Brown is fucking gonna be the number 3 wide receiver day 1 on this team. They went from having a bunch of scrubs in there, plus Terry McLaurin. Like, don't get me wrong, solid gold, platinum. But now they got Curtis Samuel to change it up, and it's gonna open things up for Diami Brown. He's gonna slide right into that role he had, and it's gonna be amazing. He's actually complements really well with Fitzpatrick's skill set. I think he's going to be awesome. I really like him.
Nice.
So,
all right. So we'll go on to next guy, Anthony Schwartz. The Browns may try to move on from Beckham at some point just to free up some money. Higgins is a free agent at the end of this year. The Browns spent a third-round pick on a speed-heavy wide receiver. I think if I look into my crystal ball, Schwartz is going to feature in this offense at some point because he kind of plays the same role that they want Beckham to do, but at a much cheaper price tag.
I don't know. I don't trust this team to pass, and I like Baker, and I think he's coming into his own, but I don't think it's going to be supporting multiple wide receivers. And if Odell Beckham comes back in and is true to form, then there's not going to be much left after Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt for the rest of these guys.
True.
So, I mean, I love the player. I just don't like youth in the receiving room in Cleveland, basically.
Okay. Fair enough. All right, next guy, Chuba Hubbard. Obviously, another guy I'm super high on. Excuse me. obviously another guy I'm super high on. There were rumors that the Panthers were toying with the idea of trading CMC to get Deshaun Watson in there.
Hell yeah.
So obviously, or not obviously, but they could be possibly willing to move on from
Team J,
CMC.
baby.
If they did that, if CMC is ever gone, I think Chuba Hubbard immediately becomes a threat at the running back position. It's one of the reasons I traded for him in our Dynasty League. It's one of the reasons I want him in any startup draft I'm doing. Because one, you got the handcuff for McCaffrey. But two, if McCaffrey ever does happen to leave, I think Chuba, again, I'm basing it on 2019. 2020 was obviously rough. But 2020 was rough for everyone on earth. So I'm willing to give that a wash because of the talent I saw in 2019. I could see Chuba being a guy.
Okay.
But just not immediately, obviously, because he's behind one of the best running backs, if not the best running back in football.
That's true. Yeah, I don't think I don't think you can project much. I think that Curtis Samuel had about 40 rush attempts. That's probably go his way.
Yeah,
You can probably be pretty confident.
Yeah.
With that. But I also think, I don't know, we don't talk about this a ton because we don't know what it really means, but the regular season's a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
CMC is showing signs of being a human finally. And so I look at 20% of the workload as being a possibility for Hubbard. Sorry. And I have future potential. I'm willing to get him, but I'm not excited about him.
okay.
I was excited about him until he got drafted by the Panthers.
That's fair. I can see that. All right, so we'll move on. I actually grouped 4 guys together because I think they weirdly have
Better make it 8.
almost the same kind of write-up. It's a big group of interesting late-round wide receivers. Jalen Darden in the 4th, Powell and Simi Fehoko in the 5th, and Frank Darby at the top of the 6th. All wide receivers that have wide receivers on their team possibly leaving at free agents. Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, Robinson from the Chiefs. DeMarcus Robinson. Michael Gallup and Russell Gage are all free agents on these offenses for these guys. And they all fit their offense fairly well. I'm really interested to see who of this group ends up being somebody because I think at least one of the 4 is going to be.
Yeah. I'd say all 4, really. These guys, I really like all 4 of them. Obviously, like you're saying, Gallup's out, and Simi Fehoko really, he's so good.
Yeah.
He's so damn good. He's so damn good. They stole him. And then Cornell Powell, we talk about this every now and again. He really brings something to the table that the Chiefs have needed.
Yep.
They tried to... There was a heavy overlap with Mecole Hardman and Tyreek Hill that never really panned out. DeMarcus Robinson is a quiet badass. And then, you need a third guy there, especially when you got Pat Mahomes leading the way. So I think that his role could be huge with the Chiefs. Frank Darby got that huge bump with Julio leaving town.
Yep.
I'm a fan of Darby as well. And then Jalen Darden, he's the question mark out of this group. And the question is really, is AB back next year? Is Chris Godwin walk in? There's a huge potential role for him. Dude. He's the one I'm least excited about these guys.
Yeah.
But talent-wise, I get borderline most excited. He's from a small school, but he did some big things.
Yeah.
So...
Yeah, I think if I'd have to rank it as far as like who might have the earliest impact, I'd probably go Powell, Darby, Fehoko, Darden. Yep. And that's because Fajoko's going to have to wait on Gallup to leave. But as soon as Gallup leaves, again, one of the reasons I took Fehoko in our 3rd round, and I'm going to hold on to him because with Gallup gone, they need that 3rd guy. So I'm into it.
Yep.
All right, so we'll move on. Pat Freiermuth. All I have to say is Eric Ebron's a free agent, and they drafted a tight end in the 2nd round. So he's going to be their starting tight end next year for sure. In my opinion, like I don't know, like they're obviously setting up for that. I don't know if it's going to work out. And that's why he's in the exciting future potential because he's going to be a starting tight end, but I don't know. That's all I have to really say about it.
Yeah, I put that I get like Cole Kmet vibes.
Yeah.
Like year 1, nothing. No, sorry. But year 2, year 3, future stuff after Ebron goes could be pretty awesome. Ebron did have 91 targets last season, which is pretty impressive considering how much the ball was in the air. He got pretty much equal share with everyone not named Deontay on that team. So that's pretty good. I do think Najee eats into the tight end role here.
For sure.
And Pat Frymouth might be one of the best blockers on that line.
Yeah.
So
maybe the best.
But down the stretch, if they can get that quarterback solid for next year, you could be looking at a solid guy here. It's just hard to say. James Washington is going to be a free agent next year. Juju's on a 1-year deal. Ebron's out after this year. It gets pretty scarce in what is a really deep wide receiver team right now.
Yeah. All right, so chugging right along. Chris Evans is my next guy in the exciting future potential. I think he's an upgrade over Samaje Perine, and he's just worth looking out for, especially in kind of like a Giovanni Bernard role outside of Joe Mixon, catching some passes. I don't know. Pretty intrigued.
Yeah, I've never really trusted Mixon too much, which might just be me missing out on a good running back, but it also could mean that my interest in Chris Evans could pay off.
Yeah.
I do think we got to look at Puka Williams, right?
I guess.
I mean,
undrafted free agent. I don't know.
I think of that Geo role. I think he has the potential.
Maybe.
I think
And so
does
one
have
of those
some
guys. So
potential.
throw Puka in here.
Oh, well, I'm not trying to say throw Puka in here, but, man, Chris Evans seemed more like a pure runner on tape to me.
Yeah.
And I think about the Geo role, and I know that was a versatile role. So I just think Puka was a very versatile back, even
That's
though
fair.
he's tiny as fuck. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's rough.
Not Tutu Atwell, but he's pretty small.
No.
All right, so the next two guys I've lumped together and are the last guys of this group of exciting future potential, and they're both tight ends that were not the most productive tight ends in college, but their landing spots up their value to me a lot, and that's Trey McKitty and Kylen Granson. We all know Carson Wentz loves his tight ends. Jack Doyle's there and Mo Alley Cox is there for a 1-year deal, but Kylen Granson could slide in there. Both those guys are gone after this year. Jack Doyle, there's rumors that they're going to cut him before the start of the year, so Kylen Granson could be the number 2 tight end already. And then Trey McKitty, yeah, he's behind Jared Cook. Again, Jared Cook, if I'm not mistaken, is on a 1-year deal.
Correct.
And so Trey McKitty could slide in there. The only reason these guys aren't higher on my list is because they did not have that much production to speak of in college. So it's not like they were these really fun tight ends to watch that came into these offenses that I'm excited about. But if they do have that talent and just weren't used right in college, then that could be exciting.
Yep. Yeah, I think that you don't see a ton of production from the tight end position in college.
Yeah.
So it's hard to predict, but when a team takes a guy in the 3rd round,
Yep.
that they're excited about him, and he's going to get opportunity. That's a pretty high pick for
Yep.
a tight end, especially one that wasn't, breaking down the walls in college.
Mm-hmm.
But Granson, is that a SMU?
Yep.
Yeah, he had some really good stuff. And then McKitty did some good work and transferred. So, there's excuses for the production there. But I think both these guys really going to hit the ground running. Especially, I really like Trey McKitty. But,
Yeah, me too.
I feel like the Chargers are just a team to be excited about in all aspects.
That Justin Herbert, boy.
Yeah, boy.
Love that. All right, so if we want to talk about quick fire round, here's the 4th round. This is just a lot of question marks, but you never know what's going to happen. First guy I have, Dwayne Estridge. He's on an offense that has a lot of other wide receivers, and not many of them are moving on soon, but I like his talent.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you got to think about David Moore, did leave 47 targets, so there is there's some sunlight for Estridge to come in and just kick ass, which I think he will. This team has always kind of needed more consistency. DK Metcalf kind of starts the season pretty solid and fades a little, and then Tyler Lockett is like some days he shows up and some days he shows out. I don't know. So
for 4 more years.
I know, but the contracts, so DK's got another 2 and Tyler Lockett's got another 4. So Russell Wilson's an amazing quarterback. He's very underrated still somehow, but I think that Estridge definitely has an opportunity to be a flyer, to be rostered, but probably not to be an every week starter.
I'm with you 100%. All right, moving on to 2 quarterbacks, Kyle Trask and Kellen Mond. We just don't know when these guys are going to start, and then if they're going to be any good. They weren't first-round quarterbacks, but non-first-round quarterbacks go and do pretty well in the NFL all the time. So just 2 guys that I'm interested in looking out for because the guys in front of them might be out the door, and Kirk Cousins and Tom Brady. Tom Brady because of age, Kirk Cousins because of
money.
Yeah. That's all I really have to say about those 2 guys.
How does Kirk Cousins get this money, man?
Dude, he's
How long do we think Bruce Arians is going to be coaching?
Till Tom Brady leaves?
That's what I thought, too. So what does this team? What does this team look like? Obviously, they're building a solid defense and O-line. A lot of the superstars are on short-term deals. So I just, I like the potential for Kyle Trask, but he was a big name, and the film, the pedigree, it just didn't pan out for him to get the attention needed for someone to be super excited about it. He's a sleeper, but he could also be a forgotten guy pretty easily. He could be one of those guys where they're like, oh, Tom Brady's retiring, we better just take a first-round quarterback this time.
Yeah.
And then, boom. Kellen Mond, more excited about. I think he's developmental, and there's a ton of potential. Oh, sorry.
That won't show up on the
You're good.
No, you're good.
Yeah, Kellen Mond, I'm actually a little worried as a Vikings fan that he's going to be rushed into something only because of this insane Kirk Cousins hate, which
So pure.
he's the human cup of ranch dressing, man, as described.
Yeah, he did Pizza Ranch commercials too.
He did.
So what's up with that?
Yeah, he's going to be the spokesperson for Miracle Whip coming up.
Amy Schumer's got that. Oh, yeah. She's the Hellman's.
I'm worried that the Vikings fans are going to put a lot of pressure to bring Kellen Mond in.
Well, there's no coaches
not
on a hot
ready.
seat, and you got the run first, really, in Minnesota. And, I mean...
I think it's a different beast for sure.
Kirk Cousins is serviceable, not sexy, and not worth another contract.
Yeah. Kind of. Did you guys see the thing McVay said about Matt Stafford? Where he was
a beast?
He said he was a beast, but he said the difference between him and other quarterbacks he's coached is once it's off game script, he can improvise.
Uh-huh.
And that's what separates quarterbacks. I'm like, you're talking about Kirk Cousins 100%.
So you're saying he's not going to throw picks into double coverage over the middle to a linebacker every time. Got it. I like Kellen a lot. Kellen to the moon. RB1. Sorry, Mahomes.
He's got a lot of footwork issues to work out.
Next guy, super quick on this one. Hunter Long. I talked about
Josh
him
Allen.
in our wide receiver tight end episode. He's a consistent pass catcher, but he's on a team with Mike Gesicki. But Mike Gesicki is a free agent next year, or at the end of this year. So who knows?
A lot of free agents.
Honestly, seems like they drafted him to replace him.
I mean, just like Pat Freiermuth, he could be the best blocking lineman on this team.
Yeah, I could see that. Honestly, that's all I really have to say is he could. But I never thought that Long would be like a dominant tight end anyway. But now I think he'll play a role in the NFL. I think Hunter Long will be around in the NFL for 10 plus years. Mercedes Lewis. He could have
Big dog?
The big dog. Ruff, ruff. He could have that exact career trajectory, in my opinion. Like, just always a consistent guy that the fan base loves because he just does his job. He shows up, just works. But he's never going to be, like, as a fantasy asset, I don't know that he'll ever be that guy.
Yeah, I literally have nothing to say about him.
Fair enough. All right, so we'll move on. Rahman J Stephenson. Just a lot of competition in the New England running back room, but, I mean, they could get rid of some guys. James White's a one-year deal. Sony Michel's a free agent. Rex Burkhead,
He's gone.
He's gone. Okay, so
I forgot where he went, but he's not.
I think, didn't he go to Houston?
Oh, fuck me. Probably.
Actually, now that you said he's gone.
Houston, Texans.
Houston,
Jesus
Texans.
Christ.
Yeah.
Fuck
And
me.
so, like, I could see Stevenson blowing up, but, it's just a lot of question marks. Me specifically, I have question marks about Stevenson because I just think he's slow and not very good. So that kind of hurts his potential for me.
Well, I think that Sony Michel's an afterthought at this point, and I think that I need to see more from Damian Harris before I'm just ushering him into a lead role. So 67 targets from Rex, or 33 targets, 67 carries for Rex are out. Cam had 137 carries, same as Damian Williams. So in my eyes...
Damian Harris?
Yeah, Damian Harris, sorry. Fuck. In my eyes, Ramondre's success lies with Mac Jones' success. If Mac Jones can get on the field, all of a sudden Ramondre is a red zone monster. And I really, 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 really think Ramondre could be the real deal. So I'm going to miss him. So, and also there's no rushing running back. So James White aside that played more than 10 games last year. So there's some injuries on this team. There's some opportunities. And, J.J. Taylor can't just take the rock every time. So.
Ramondre is going to be a fun episode, whether he works out or doesn't, because it's going to be probably our biggest divide on this podcast.
Oh, yeah.
So far. So that's going to have to be like a 20-minute episode in and of itself, regardless of how it goes. So
You'll see.
This guy I was able to comp, but the comps are bad. It's Wayne Gallman and Jordan Wilkins.
Yep.
Are my comps.
That's
for
what
him.
I'm saying, man. Like, he just doesn't... He doesn't fit... He doesn't pass the eye test.
I think he gets 40% of the carries in this backfield, not counting Cam. So 40% of the
running back carries.
running back carries. The running back
fair
work.
enough. Next two guys I'll lump together. Interesting. Jacob Harris and Amir Smith Marsette. They're interesting, like enough to keep your eye on. There's people leaving. Maybe Deshaun Jackson doesn't make the Rams. Chad Beebe is gone at the end of this year, I believe. And Adam Thielen's getting older, so they drafted a receiver, so that's interesting. Jacob Harris, we don't even know if he's going to play receiver or tight end, though.
Said he's doing tight end reps.
Okay, so if he's a tight end, I would almost like that more, to be honest. But, yeah, I don't know. I just don't know how to feel about these guys, which is why they're in the question mark role.
Well, I think these guys are very different, in my opinion. Obviously, if Jacob Harris is a wide receiver, he's behind, Robert Woods. He's behind Cooper Kupp, Van Jefferson, maybe even Deshaun Jackson, and Tutu Atwell. Or maybe he's just behind Gerald Everett or Tyler Higbee. Sorry, guys. Whew. Either way, I don't think it's going to be that exciting. He's an exciting player, but I don't think it's that exciting. And then Amir Smith Marsette, I think he could be the number 3 wide receiver on this team immediately. And, Adam Thielen had a great year last year, but so much of that was based on touchdowns. So I think they could spread the love fantasy-wise, and we could see a 2A and 2B with Thielen and Smith Marsette, with obviously the golden number 1 being Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
For sure. All right, so I got 3 running backs next. I got Larry Roundtree, Khalil Herbert, and Jake Funk.
All right, set this timer for 25 minutes. Larry Roundtree, let's go.
All have paths to be like a number 2 guy eventually. I don't know, like for Khalil Herbert, I don't know that they're going to keep Tariq Cohen for very long. Khalil Herbert was kind of a good receiving back, and they took him. I could see him sliding in there. Larry Roundtree has a maybe clearer path because Joshua Kelly and Justin Jackson were disappointing, I would say, in their season, so he could slide into that. And then Jake Funk, he's going to be behind Henderson and Akers, but he's got the workout to prove it, so who knows? Keep an eye on him. I'm not saying draft any of these guys, but worth keeping an eye on. I'd definitely keep an eye on Roundtree and Herbert more than Funk.
Yeah, Herbert is a guy that really jumps out to me just because we've seen the trust issues with David Montgomery. He fucking balled out last year.
Yeah.
But it seems like none of us are trusting that.
Yeah.
I do think that Khalil Herbert is a very impressive running back that people are kind of sleeping on. And I think that if he gets on the field, he can definitely establish himself as someone who will be taking some of the action away from Montgomery. Cohen is under contract through 2024, which is whatever, but
I could see them
fading him hard.
Fading or just getting rid of him entirely, though.
Yeah, sure.
No offense to Cohen. He does what he's supposed to do. Anyway, go ahead.
No, you're good. Jake Funk, definitely nothing in my heart. What is the third running back ever done for a team outside of A.J. Dillon,
Yeah.
So I don't get too excited about that. I don't think he poses a threat to Henderson, basically. Yeah. Not like Herbert does to Tariq Cohen and even maybe David Montgomery. But then you come in with Larry Roundtree, and I'm not even going to say anything about Larry because if you're listening to this and you already heard me talk about him, he's amazing. I think he can do a lot. He's a powerhouse. He's got good vision. He is slow, but he's big, and he did a lot of solid stuff in the SEC for 4 years and has great ball security, so he's going to earn the trust of his coaches, and he's going to get action. I think he's worth drafting.
Yeah. All right, so honestly, these next 5 guys, I'm just going to group all together, try to knock it out pretty quick. Daz Newsome, Kylen Hill, Dax Milne, Tutu Atwell, and Demetric Felton. All have huge question marks for different reasons. Daz Newsome already got hurt, and that's a huge deal.
Yep.
Kylen Hill is behind Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon. If they keep Aaron Jones for 4 years, then he's never going to see the field. But if they get rid of Aaron Jones after 2, like many people think they might, then he could be that Aaron Jones role to A.J. Dillon. Dax Milne, there's just a lot of mouths on the Washington football team, even though he produced pretty well. Tutu Atwell was a second-round pick, but he's 140 pounds and not super interested in it. And Demetric Felton is probably going to switch back to wide receiver and is in an offense that I'm not sure where he fits necessarily if he does that.
Yeah. You pretty much crushed it on these guys. I'm not going to get too into him. Obviously, Kylen is a friend of the show. Thanksgiving dinner, there will always be a seat at the table for Kylen. So,
every year.
And Demetric Felton, hopefully he plays running back, Just gets in there and just changes it up.
Yeah, but even then, where's he going to fit? You got Chubb and Hunt.
Yeah, but who was the other running back there?
Dearness
Johnson.
Yeah, but he only even saw the field because Chubb got hurt.
He's still got some work when they were doing 3 running backs. So
as a guy that paid way too much in a fab, he didn't get that much work.
All right. So all these guys are forgettable. I was very excited about Daz Newsome given the 1-year deal tagged on Allen Robinson. Anthony Miller's coming into his last year, and it almost feels like Chicago will be happy when he's gone. So the potential for Newsome in that offense was huge. And it sucks. The collarbone injury.
Yeah.
He'll be ready for the regular season, but he's missing all this developmental.
Yeah.
Or so. Flush. And we're never doing a Stacks episode. Ever.
All right.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
All right. So the last player we're going to talk about, Kane Wangu.
I literally deleted him.
I only typed up guys that we actually drafted in ours.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess I
Fair
didn't need
enough.
to talk about all these guys, but
Fair enough.
I did it.
No, you can talk about it, man. Go off the top. You got shit to say.
Well, Amir Smith Marsette and Kane Wangu came in to help the special teams game because we were the worst special teams team in the league last year. So these guys were brought in for that.
Jalen Darden.
And also, I think the running back coach that developed Dalvin Cook took this beautiful specimen of a man, and he's going to be a starting running back in 2 years. With that said, hey guys, thanks for tuning in to Rough Draft Research.
Peace out,
Starting
homies.
running back.
The Minnesota Vikings, 2023.
Well, where's Dalvin going to be? In the Hall of Fame?
Dead?
Yeah.
Dead.
He'll be his backup.
Sweet action.
Bro, he turns 29 that year. Come on, dude. Did anyone
in
watch
December.
Did anyone watch the RB longevity episode that hasn't been posted yet?
No.
All right.
No, they didn't.
I didn't break into your house and watch a video that hasn't been
Bro,
published.
you got
That's
the
what you're
password. It's uploaded, dog.
asking. Oh. I'm currently logged in. I got to exercise this. I wait for it on Spotify.
Fucked up.
Farewell.
All right, signing off.
Peace out, guys.
Later, guys.